Hey guys, James here again. This made with Luffy had two devil fruits, and I believe this would be volume 3 or volume 4 of the series. And this would if Luffy was Plastic Man. Luffy would select two devil fruits in Gomu Gomu no Mi, where he met Shanks. The whole thing goes pretty much the exact same way. But then Luffy would also eat the Pura Pura no Mi. Pura Pura no Mi meaning, well, plastic fruit. This allows Luffy to get every ability of Plastic Man. So, yeah. So he kind of ate this fruit in the 2 weeks he was chasing after Ace. Let's say this fruit he began learning how to use, realizing that honestly didn't really do too much for him besides add on to his already amazing abilities in his Gomu Gomu no Mi. All it did give him 100 times one multiplier. As basically, if he has to know Plastic Man's abilities, basically Gear 5th Luffy. That's just really all it is. It's just that he can't turn people or objects into rubber, but just name a few abilities. He can control how dense he is. Like, he can either be as flexible as a rubber band, or he can just be solid as a rock. He can stretch an infinite distance. He can change his size, like how Piccolo does in Dragon Ball. Shape-shifting, and with his old rubber body, or plastic body, it allows him to be super agile, but also give him enhanced coordination. He can add on he can basically just give himself bigger muscles or thinner muscles, so he can either shrink down or just be buff. He can change his own color, because, his suit kind of molded onto his body, and I assume his suit also plays a part of that, so he can just change color in his body. And what that is, it does take a lot of concentration to do that, and Luffy and Plastic Man are both decent idiots, so, yeah. He's basically invulnerable, as, Batman even estimates he can survive a nuclear bomb. He has insanely good regeneration. Basically, his body was completely destroyed and spread all across the Atlantic Ocean. The Justice League only had to gather 80% of his body, and he built himself back up from that 80%, then rebuilt the other 20% by himself. So, if you destroy 20% of Luffy's body, I'd say half of his head all the way down to his whole right arm, Luffy can regrow that whole part of his body easily. He's immortal as he doesn't seem to have any aging effects, so yeah, that works. He's also a really good thief, and also a decently good detective, actually. So yeah, Luffy will get all those abilities of Plastic Man. So yeah. But now with this, we should go on to just Luffy finding Ace eventually, and with the plastic fruit, what Luffy couldn't do with his body was actually fully control it. Luffy can actually now fully control his body, like kind of what it does. He can just control how he stretches his body, but not the speed it stretches. But the length is a lot better, and he has full control over it. This actually allowed him to keep up with Ace decently, and then, where Temmie would try to get Luffy, hold Luffy captive, Luffy's idea to have to stretch his arm fully back, and as for Temmie realized that Luffy isn't moving at all, he would realize Luffy's arm is stretched, and Luffy let go, swing his arm fully forward, landing poor Temmie right in the chin, completely not even in the chin, I think right in the mouth, would it actually completely destroy poor Temmie's just lower jaw. So, yeah. Right, Temmie hit the ground with his mouth just pouring blood. Luffy swung his leg at full speed, and, it wasn't too fast, but it knocked all Blue Jam's crew to the ground. Luffy then ran away, picking up poor Temmie's giant sword, and kind of just holding it and running away. Ace and I will follow him, just actually laughing at poor Temmie. Blue Jam kills poor Temmie and all his men from them losing to one little kid who's not even 10 years old. So yeah. With this, Luffy's childhood is pretty much the exact same as in canon after this, but with Luffy's body being better controlled and actually, Sabaody teaching him a bit of momentum and mass, Luffy does learn how to control his fruit on a much better scale. He already developed Gomu Gomu no Pistol, Gomu Gomu no Gatling. He developed all those abilities before the Great Terminal Fire even happens. This is how well controlled his body is now. We also just realized that he can become as dense as a rock, as Sabaody tried to punch him in the face once, and Luffy just stiffened up immediately, and Sabaody hit him in the face, almost having his hand shatter. Stuff at the ground holding his fist, that's covered in blood now, but it wasn't broken, it just hurts a lot. So yeah. So we can practicing with that. Then, they also realize that Luffy can also alter the size of his body. But also just they can kind of buff up growing muscles. So yeah. So Luffy's height, he changed that a bit to actually look a decent size taller, roughly going from 3 foot all the way up to roughly around 4'3". So Luffy wants to look a bit bigger, so people don't really take him as a joke, but still, he should him as a kid, but not take him serious, I guess. So yeah. But he's kind of working on molding his hand into weapons, like hammers and mallets. Yeah, Saba's dad would try to get him back by actually kind of abducting them. Having Blue Jam hold them down. Blue Jam put a blade to Luffy's neck, saying, "You know, brat, I can kill you right here and now. But Sabo and Ace look at Blue Jam with a blank face, and Luffy looks confused, saying, you can cut my neck if you want. It won't do anything. Blue Jam says, oh really? And he cut Luffy's throat, and the closer that Luffy's throat wasn't even touched. Luffy has such good control over his body at this point that Blue Jam just missed his throat completely. Luffy smirked as his head shot up immediately, and Blue Jam right in the center of his face, caving it in. Blue Jam hit the ground, almost basically just unconscious. Luffy swung his head around at full speed, and slammed into everyone except Sabaody's dad, as Luffy just hopped up, then ran full speed ahead of Sabaody's dad, putting him his arm to a mallet, setting Sabaody's dad inside of the head, sending him flying through the Gold Kingdom. And now Blue Jam's crew immediately learned their lesson to not mess with Luffy, Ace, or Sabo. So, yeah. But eventually Sabaody's dad had hired, he was just relentless. He had Blue Jam's crew for the Great Terminal Fire, but also hired guards to go in there and get Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. With this, they do just that. And eventually, in the Great Terminal Fire, Luffy's trying to help everyone get out of there, as they all try to help everyone get out of there. They're decent guys. In the middle of this, a guard actually hit Sabo in the back of the head with the butt of his gun. As soon as Ace turned around, Ace is punched in the face by one of the guards. And Sabo was picked up, and the guard would rush in the Great Terminal. Whether Luffy can do anything about it, he's grabbed and thrown right into the flames by Blue Jam. Luffy just hopped up, and not only being faced by this, and now faces down against any remaining guards and Blue Jam's whole crew. This way I could say this. I kind of say that it's like a fight from the Yakuza series, but added in superpowers. That's the best way to say it. Time the fight's over, Luffy's panting, covered in sweat, but had beaten majority of the crew. Well, not majority, all the crew and all the guards, and he hit Ace on his back as he just ran straight to the Kingdom Gate. And as they close it, Luffy immediately yelled, saying, "That's not keeping me out. Instead, I'll let everyone else in." He then yelled for everyone that the gates open, as he turns his hand into a giant mallet, slamming it right in the Gold Kingdom fence, or gate, completely decimating even a bit of the wall. Then all the civilians rush in immediately, away from the flames. Before guards can stop them, Luffy just uses two quick go-go pistols, knocking out the guards. And Luffy then ran looking for Sabo as Ace had woken up. But Ace woke up hours later. Ace woke up in the clinic as Luffy was just in there covered in, I would say, ash. And Ace was outside, seeing a bit of the kingdom, a bit run down and destroyed now because the civilians from the terminal were in there trying to hide. But Dragon had seen what Luffy did and just smiles at this, so yeah. But he asks about Sabo, and Luffy says he doesn't know where Sabo went. As Luffy doesn't even know Sabo's dad's a noble, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know where Sabo is. Luffy eventually kind of looked around the Gold Kingdom for a few days, even going those days turning to weeks. We still couldn't find Sabo or any news about Sabo. We didn't know his dad's name, didn't know Sabo's last name. He didn't know a thing about Sabo besides his name is Sabo. That's it. That's all he knew about him. Sabo just said that he's from the Gold Kingdom, and his name is Sabo. That's all he told him about his past. So yeah. In the meantime, Luffy picked up detective skills and really good thieving skills. Last time he found a lead on Sabo, because he found Sabo's dad's name and what he looked like. As soon as he got a lead on that, he looked out at the Celestial Dragon arriving, and Luffy's on a building with Ace by his side. They didn't see a boat sailing out, and Luffy realized it was Sabo. Luffy's arm immediately shoots out towards Sabo at full speed, as the Celestial Dragon ready to gun. Immediately, Sabo had basically heard someone yell his name, and he saw a dagger pointing at Luffy's hand. Sabo turned around, trying to grab it, before the Celestial Dragon fired a bullet. But suddenly, Luffy would see Ace running down his arm at full speed, and he smacks the Celestial Dragon's bullet right into the ocean. Luffy then grabs Sabo's boat, pulling it straight into the Gold Kingdom, and threw Sabo right into Luffy. Luffy enough for them to run, and they do. They run full speed in the Great Terminal, and Dagger would follow them, going at full speed as well. So yeah. Now with this, in the Great Terminal, Celestial Dragon's guards search it, and when they find Sabo, they point a gun at him. But Luffy just headbutted one of the guards so hard that the guard's skull is literally destroyed. This is Dragon would confront the boys and tell them that if they fly that flag again, he'll kill them. Luffy then tells Celestial Dragon that he better get out of their face before he hits them. Luffy just tells Celestial Dragon like this: "Get out of our face, or I'm going to cave your face in." Celestial Dragon says, "What are you going to do about it, you brat?" If we can finish the word brat, Luffy decks him in the jaw full force. And no one was awake to see this besides his two brothers. So yeah. The Celestial Dragon hit the ground, but then Sabo's like, "This is punchable by having an admiral arrive here, so I have an idea." Then eventually with this, everyone arrived, and, well, they basically see starting with the pipe in his hand, unconscious, and the guard looked like he was hit in the face with a pipe. This makes some of the guard attack the Sexual Dragon, and the Sexual Dragon just knocked him out. But they knocked each other out, really. That's kind of what it looked like. So, yeah. So with this, well, eventually, the guard is arrested. The Sexual Dragon doesn't remember that it was Luffy doing that, as Luffy moved too fast. But he assumes as a guard to try to save the 2 kids. Well, the 3 kids. But, yeah. So, yeah. But Luffy kind of saw how not destructive, how evil the world government is, so he refused to be a part of them. So that's why he's not becoming a Marine. He even told Garp what he did. So, yeah. But now with this, we can probably settle on just when Ace and Sabo are 17. Sabo becomes a revolutionary, Ace becomes a pirate. That's not much different. But then Luffy's 17. Well, Luffy, like how Rayleigh got his first ship, well, Rayleigh and Roger, it was a ship that was stolen. So Luffy stole the ship and set sail. Because Luffy's a pretty good thief, and Luffy looks just like this. Just take away the X on his chest. So yeah. It was Luffy that set sail. Well, Luffy had, gotten over to basically just Alvida's ship. When he saw it, he immediately jumped aboard and caught a pretty nice vessel. But the pink kind of ruins it. Alvida immediately hit Luffy in the face with her club at full force. Only for it to shatter on Luffy's face. When it shattered, Alvida was questioning what Luffy's made out of. Only for Alvida screwed rush at Luffy with swords and guns and everything, hitting Luffy, but just weapons repeatedly break on Luffy. Before Luffy jumped in the air, and kind of enlarged his fist, punching not only his ship, punching in half. It's not like Gear 3. Luffy's arm was extremely detailed. You can see veins, muscle, everything. Punched down, completely destroying half of Alvida's ship, and Alvida and Kobe were on one side that wasn't destroyed. Luffy landed, kicking Alvida so far that she landed in the same location. Then Luffy let Kobe come aboard with him. When Kobe headed to Shelltown, they arrive there, and it's honestly pretty chill, until it comes down to, I would say, probably just the whole thing with Zoro. But as soon as Luffy saw Rika coming over, and then he kind of heard a bit of Marines coming. He kind of heard, honestly, just a shuffle of guns and everything. Luffy began focusing as hard as he could, altering his clothes to look like Marines, even shifting his face to look like one of the Marines, here to the point where no one could tell him he was not a Marine. While he's here, he immediately kind of hid Rika, kind of under his quote-unquote Marine coat, and questioning what Luffy's doing. Or they say, "Marine, what are you doing?" Luffy's like, he said something, so I came over to hear it. It was just a random insult. And Alpo says, "Really? Random insult? What do he call you?" Luffy thinks really hard, saying, he called me monkey. And like, oh, okay. They walk the helmet on his Marines head inside, and Luffy then morphed back as Rico would question how Luffy can do that. He says, no worries, just double fruit powers. He immediately untied Zoro, and brought Zoro out into Rika's bar, and Luffy would shapeshift from that same Marine look, going inside the Marine base. And because he looks so common, well, no one is really calling him out on, anything. Then Helmpo was rumors Helmpo had walked away, but Luffy was one of his guards. He turned around looking outside, realizing Zoro's gone, but then turned around looking at Luffy, and Luffy's gone. He thinks he's going insane, and before he can say anything about it, he's put in a chokehold by Luffy, and just choked out. He looked up, seeing Luffy was actually on the ceiling. Luffy just jumped up there and just kind of squeezed it full force using his fingertips to actually hold himself up. So yeah, he kind of stretched his arm out and just kind of wrapped it around Helmpo's neck and just chokes him out. Luffy jumped off the ceiling, bringing Helmpo into his room, tying Helmpo up, and putting Helmpo in his closet. Grabbed Zoro's 3 swords, jumped out the window, and ran so fast that no one even saw him move. Luffy got into the bar, giving Zoro's blades, and Zoro was basically amazed that Luffy was able to do that, and there's not even one uproar, there's not even somewhat of a yell until getting into Morgan. But the thing is, one of Helmpo's guards was actually in here on a bathroom break, and he saw what Luffy did. He even heard how Luffy did it. It happened to be Commander Ripper. When Ripper then actually told Luffy what Morgan does, actually told Luffy that he'll make sure no Marine attacks Luffy or Zoro if they can defeat Morgan. Luffy still says he'll do it himself, there's no need for anything else. But put in a good word about his abilities so that he gets a high bounty. Ripper is a little confused by this, but says, alright, sure. We then basically jumped on the roof, with landing with Zoro actually by his side, but Zoro kind of didn't go as high as Luffy, but was able to climb up the rest of the way. With this, Morgan sends a few Marines at Luffy, but Luffy swings at Zoro. Zoro keys the sheath on a sword and just hits a few guys in the jaw or the neck. Luffy faces down to Morgan, and Morgan went down to slash at Luffy using his axe hand. Only Luffy's hand morphed into an axe, and Luffy destroyed Morgan's axe hand using his own. But then Luffy just yelled, "Go on a pistol," and Morgan right in the face. Morgan sent flying off the marine base. Luffy jumped into the air, grabbing Morgan's statue, putting his arms all around it, completely crushing it up. Then just yelled, "Go into a mallet." Using Morgan's crushed up statue, kind of extended it in his hand and hands into a mallet, but made a bit of the Morgan statue emerge from his hand, making it a spiky mallet now. He hit into Morgan's face and impaling him a bit, and this would lead to him destroying his iron jaw and losing one eye. And half his face is completely slashed up. Warren hit the ground unconscious, and a majority of his skull is destroyed, and his when he lost his iron jaw, a majority of his skull is completely cracked and destroyed, and he lost an eye. Morgan's not having a good day. Luffy dropped all the shambles of the statue on Morgan's face and walks away, with him and Zoro high-fiving. Ripper then told the Marines that he asked the pirates to do this, so that they can have excuse to arrest Morgan. They also called out that Helmpo was locked in his closet, so they put Helmpo in a prison cell with Morgan as well. But eventually Helmpo was released for the fact that he's just a pants-fisting coward. Now with this, Luffy and Zoro decide to leave, and him and Zoro leave. Well, Kobe was saying about Luffy says about Kobe, and then Luffy and Zoro arrive at Orangetown. Because Luffy doesn't really need to stand up to stretch at insane speeds or heights, he should have the burden pull it down to him. So they to Orangetown, but Nami is held captive. Instead of Luffy being in that cage where they're gonna hit him with a buggy ball, it's Nami. And they saw what they were going to do, and even heard how strong the buggy ball is, because Buggy is busy bragging about it. Luffy to save Nami jumped in the way, taking the brunt of the blast head on. Or everyone thought they'd see a blast. When realized that Luffy caught the ball head on. Luffy then threatened to crush it right in front of them all, and they immediately yell, "Hell no." Buggy immediately tried to stab Luffy in the side, but Luffy's body honestly kind of warped around it. Buggy kind of stabbed a hollow area. Luffy's organs are rubber, or they're plastic too, so kind of just moved them around at his own accord, and they won't really do anything to his body. Even if it's worked, Buggy wouldn't have stabbed anything important. It would have just been a pointless amount of things stabbed. He just broke Luffy's skin. That's it. He just broke his skin. That's it. So yeah, everything else but the skin would have been moved around. So yeah. But Luffy decided to kind of spin around, and nailed Buggy right in the face with a buggy ball. But sent Buggy kind of just flying full speed ahead, until the buggy ball exploded in midair, where Buggy was just hit by the whole blast of it. Buggy at the ground defeated, and Buggy's out for the rest of the Orangetown arc. Kabuji would fight Zoro, and Zoro easily beat him. Mochi and Richie just get hit with the giant mallet from Luffy's one hand. But then Luffy tried to jump in the air, and kind of extend his body to the point where it looks like a giant blanket, and wrap up Buggy's whole crew. Then began squeezing full force as Zoro then ran, and telling Luffy, asking Luffy if he can at least glide in that blanket form. And Luffy just nods. Zoro then kind of drop kicks them all off the building into the ocean. Luffy unravels himself flying straight over Buggy's ship, and right in front of Nami again. Not even flying, it's more like, I'd say like flying a kite, so to say. Luffy kind of flew in a certain angle or a certain way with the wind and landed. So, yeah. So, Zoro and Luffy just high-five that a good little team. And Nami's like, well, Buggy had the key, and Buggy's in the water. Well, not in the water, he's in a building, and I don't think you should go over because you may have destroyed the key. But Luffy ended up kind of putting his finger in the lock and immediately letting it out, before he actually will just kind of morphed his finger into the shape of the lock and unlock the cage for Nami. Nami immediately, I was kind of shined out at Luffy's key finger, and he then says, "Let me guess, you're a good thief too?" She nods, and Luffy and Nami like money, the berry symbol in their eyes. Luffy and Nami both think about how much money. Well, Nami thinks about how much money she could make, and Luffy thinks about how much money he did make. He's made hundreds of millions of berries, but that goes all to Fuchsia and the bandits. So yeah. Yeah, and see how much money he's given them, Makino and Whoop Slaps and Luffy like a few million berries, like a million berries every few months, like once a month, every few months. So yeah, so a million berries is I think $10,000, rounding up $10,000. So yeah. The way I just do yen is take away 2 zeros from whatever number I select. But yeah. Yep, so Luffy gets $10,000 every few months from Makino and Whoop Slap. But by the end of the year, he has a little over a million berries. But Luffy actually has Nami trying to join his crew after they rob Buggy, and she just nods. So with this, they rob Buggy's whole crew. Buggy and his crew retreat. And the mayor would thank Luffy. Luffy, Nami, and Zoro leave on Luffy's random ship that's not even named. He just has the ship that he stole. And then they go on to Sur Village. Well, hold up. Sur Village isn't much of a different arc to me until it came down to the final fights. So when it came down to the final fights, Luffy versus Kuro. Kuro, like, basically slashed at Luffy once, and Luffy hardened his body to the point where Kuro just blades broke on Luffy. But then told everyone to move out of the way. He used to take out the whole crew in one move. Luffy then used one giant palm stop to send Kuro flying to his crew, kind of lining them up, not lining up, like surrounding them all around in one area. Before Luffy then just yelled, "Go no, giant Luffy." And Luffy then grew to the size of an actual giant, like Dorian Broggy size giants. Basically compare sizes like Hydrogen. He's the same height as Hydrogen. But Luffy stomped down full force on Kuro's crew, not killing any of them somehow, because Luffy should have killed a few people in the story right now. But Luffy doesn't like killing. Instead, everyone here is either just kind of knocked into a coma, or their bones are completely turned to dust. Luffy then shrink back down, and Usopp is in sheer amazement. Luffy's currently naked most of the time. He literally just has rubber that forms in looking like clothing. It just looks that good. It even feels like clothing. Which same thing with Plastic Man. Plastic Man is naked. So yeah, Luffy is too. One thing he actually wears is like the straw hat and pants, but his pants are fake most of the time. So yeah. But now with this, we go on to, I'd probably say Usopp joining the crew. The next up would probably be Baratie, which isn't much different until Krieg determined Krieg's like, I want your ship. But Luffy walked over to Krieg, who stood up. Only for Luffy got him by his pseudo armor. Krieg could pull Luffy off of him, but suddenly his whole armor suit just fell off, and Krieg's questioning what happened. Only Luffy's fingers realized that they were extended and very thin. Luffy kind of took the whole suit apart in that split second. Before Krieg can do anything else, Luffy just kind of backfisted him right in the jaw, knocking him out in that one fell swoop. Immediately, Gin calls out the poison, but Luffy holds up the poison capsule, saying he has an idea. Luffy opens the Baratie doors and throws the poison capsule straight at Pearl's face, as Pearl's the only one poisoned. Pearl fell back, fall on the ground, completely dead immediately. And immediately, Krieg's crew is just nervous until they hear Gomu no mallet Gatling. And Luffy slams basically just one giant mallet down over and over again, and that's just his fist. With all Sergeant Kuro's crew is almost defeated until Zoro, Nami, and Usopp run down, with Sanji by their side, defeating anyone in their way. Even Gin joined in on this. So yeah. Alright. So yeah. So with this, Luffy kind of just talks to Gin and Sanji, and because Luffy actually sort of have good morals, and not killing any of his crew actually, besides Pearl, well, Luffy actually asked Gin to join his crew in exchange for not killing any of the crewmates besides Pearl. And Gin agreed. So yeah. Luffy honestly just thought Gin's Tonfa was badass and wanted to learn how to use Tonfa properly from Gin. So yeah. Luffy has plans for turning his arms into Tonfa and wanting to learn how to use them. So yeah. But eventually, it does go on to basically just Gin joining, then Sanji would join. Then they head to Kokoyashi, as Nami is confident in Luffy's abilities to beat Arlong. As he's basically immune to everything, and, well, Luffy has a joke cut off his own hand in front of Nami and Zoro. In the span of an hour, he grew his hand back. He bled a little bit for a second before his hand kind of sealed off the wound. Then an hour later, his hand was fully grown back. So yeah, Nami's confident in Luffy beating Arlong either way. Either he wins for time out Arlong, or he's surely more skilled than Arlong is in all-around abilities, besides maybe intelligence. But even though Luffy leads on he's dumb, he figured out that Nami was in danger and a part of a pirate crew the whole time immediately after he met her. There'd be no reason for her to rob another pirate crew unless she was a pirate. And there's no one that dumb who would, well, first off, wear a shirt that wouldn't cover up a pirate tattoo that well. And two, well, she was very suspicious around pirates. And so it came down talking about how much she hated them. So she's probably held captive by a pirate crew. Luffy deducted that quickly. That was within the first 10 minutes of meeting Nami. So, man's not dumb. And on the Kokogashi, they were on deck just hanging out talking, Luffy and Nami, and just those two. Luffy read it out that he knew about Nami being held captive as a pirate. This is just how he knew, and he just tells her what he deducted, and she realized that Luffy's not dumb. He just leads on that he is. As soon as they dock, Luffy tells Nami he'll be Arlong himself. But Zoro had heard what Luffy's planned to do, and went with Luffy from behind, kind of followed him. Luffy began fighting Arlong's whole crew pretty easily, until it came down to Chu, Kurubi, and Hachi, where Zoro butted in. He beat Chu and Kurubi, will beat Chu and Hachi. Kirby has a bit of a struggle though, because Zoro got cut across the chest by Mihawk. As soon as Zoro's about to be hit with a blow that will actually kill him, Luffy took the brunt of the blow head on, and then, Kirby realized that Luffy didn't take the blow for Zoro, he just outmuscled Kirby by actually punching his fist harder. Kirby fell back holding his hand as it was completely shattered. When Luffy punched Kirby full force, as it hardened his body up a bit, but also just kind of buffed up a bit, enhancing his muscle to the point where he's now the size of like Katakuri. So yeah, and with that, a giant dust cloud emerged from Arlong Park. They all arrive, seeing Kirby's face just completely joined into the pavement. Arlong's defeated. It looks like he was hit in the head with a hammer, a very sharp hammer. And Zoro's going to lean against the wall with his wounds open again. They bring Zoro to the hospital to basically lead him by the doctor in the village. The doctor treats him, and Luffy awaits Nezumi. Nezumi arrived with Luffy holding Arlong and all his crew with a giant rope. Nezumi immediately went to cut the rope, and as soon as he slipped the rope, he went to cut the rope to free Arlong's crew and shoot Luffy, the scissors just snapped. Nobody wonders what happened until Luffy realized it was Pinky. It was just really well hidden. Then he swung Arlong's whole crew right at Nezumi, right through Nezumi's whole ship, over and over again for 10 minutes with no break. By the time he's done, he lets Arlong's crew go, and Arlong's crew can barely even float. That's just how beaten up they are from Luffy, swinging them around just like they're toys. Nezumi calls the Marine back up, but the villagers tell the new Marines what happened, and Nezumi and Arlong's crew was arrested, but Hachi escaped. So yeah. But because Luffy did a good deed, the Marines are willing to let Luffy off, just willing to let him off. Next up would probably be the Log Town, which isn't much different either. They're honestly just chilling out there for a bit. And, when Smoker and Luffy had a fight, Luffy is basically not intangible, but invulnerable to every attack. Even if Smoker were DC Stone, Luffy is kind of just immune to the damage. So, yeah. Plus, Luffy can kind of just, not be hit. So, yeah. Then eventually, Luffy and Smoker just tire each other out, and Smoker and Luffy eventually both pass out from exhaustion with how much they've been fighting. But this is before Luffy can pass out, Gin just grabs Luffy by the hair, throwing him on the Going Merry, as they have that now. Gin gets full of strats as they all run onto the Going Merry, they wave goodbye to the people they met here, and they sail over Reverse Mountain. They meet Crocus, they meet Vivi, they meet Mr. 9. Then the whole Whiskey Peak arc isn't much different either, actually. Then now there's Little Garden, but Luffy isn't painted on because his coordination and perception are through the roof. The man moves at the speed of sound 24/7 and just wraps his body around everything. His perception and coordination are needed. So Miss Golden can even paint on Luffy. That's the difference. That's the only thing that happened that she couldn't paint on Luffy. So yeah. Except would probably be, I would say, what was it? Oh yeah, Drum Island, but that's not much different either. Actually, when it came to Wapol arriving, Luffy fights Wapol and isn't even getting any damage done whatsoever. Wapol bites down as hard as he can, and Luffy is infected by it. Point Luffy let Wapol eat him, though they were a bit nervous, so Luffy just shot through Wapol's teeth right then and wrapped around him and completely just crushed every bone in his body. So yeah, Wapol ate Luffy. Luffy shot out Wapol's between the gaps in Wapol's teeth. Luffy wrapped all his body right around Wapol and just squeezing until Wapol's body was just cracking under all the pressure. So yeah. With this Wapol's defeated. Then next up, we probably go on to, I would say, next up is probably just going to be Chess and Kodomadima, which aren't a fight. Luffy is just easily beating them. But then him and Chopper would just leave, Chopper joins the Strike crew. Then next would probably be Alabasta, where it's not much different. Crocodile can't impale Luffy, that's the only difference. Luffy isn't impaled. Instead, he has to figure out a weakness to sand. And he figures out it would be extreme heat or water. So, yeah. So Luffy just drinks a ton of water and alters his body to make it a point where it looks like that he doesn't have any water in him. Instead, the one that him and Crocodile fight, he's just going to make holes in his body that fire out a ton of water. He's just going to turn himself into a living water gun. So, yeah. So for round 2 between Luffy and Crocodile, Luffy goes for a punch, Crocodile would dodge, only for a hole to open in the back of Luffy's hand, or like a gap, I'd say, that shoots out, Luffy kind of drops tons of water on him. Or Luffy just makes a giant cannon out of his arm. You know how, King Kong gun Luffy kind of crosses his arm like that? So he does that, but there's no fist, his hand just disperses, making a giant cannon. Crocodile's hit in the face by this cannon, point blank range. Luffy just punches him in the face full force with his arm buffed up, and the Crocodile's almost knocked out immediately from how much force he was hit with. before Luffy kind of ended up jumping in the air and immediately just transformed into Crocodile himself, even using the giant hook. Crocodile's face is still a bit wet. Before he can even dodge, Luffy actually slashes his face, cutting out one of his eyes. Crocodile then realizes that Luffy can use every ability he can, it's just that Luffy can't really be hit. So, Crocodile can't be hit, Luffy can't get hit, it's honestly a never-ending battle. Well, Luffy can end the battle anytime he wants to, he's still full of water. But eventually Luffy just started to morph into basically just a giant. And well, Luffy's body is giant, everything in his body became giant. Luffy just kicked Crocodile using kind of making water seep through his leg and kick him. And then, well, that was all the water in his body because he forgot how big he was. But Luffy still has his spit, which is massive. So yeah. Luffy spit on Crocodile immediately. Crocodile's coating this saliva. But then Luffy shrank back again, going only to the size of a few inches, where Crocodile couldn't see him anymore. Only for Luffy wrapped around his neck and just choked him out. Then Crocodile's defeated. So yeah. But Luffy wasn't hit once. And Smoker was actually just watching this battle from a distance, even seeing Luffy shrink and how he moved around Crocodile. Luffy's just simply toying with a warlord. He's toying with him. Just because he has time. And it just scared Smoker, honestly. Luffy already came out of the East Blue with a bounty of 65 million. But now he's toying with a warlord, and his crew's decimating a warlord's crew. So yeah. Also because Luffy's training how to use Tonfa, the whole crew is training with him, just so Luffy doesn't train by himself with Gin. Luffy's current bounty is 65 million, and after Alabasta, it's 120 million. But yeah, so we're going to go into Zoro versus Mr. One. This fight happens, and Zoro's actually able to somewhat avoid all those attacks, and Zoro's coordination is a lot better, and so is his perception and speed. Dealing with Luffy and training with him is a very, very tough battle. Strength didn't really increase, just perception, coordination, and speed. No strength increase. And Zoro beat him. He beat him pretty easily, actually. Wasn't really much of a battle. But then we have to go on to basically like Miss Doublefinger and Nami. Nami's very similar situation to Zoro, but she did grow in strength a bit because she was encouraged to train physically. She was like poked once or twice, but that's about it. Poked, not stabbed. So she beat Miss Doublefinger, but it was still a pretty hard battle. And every other Straw Hats about the battle very similar as in canon. So yeah. Pause. So every other Straw Hats battle is pretty much the exact same, it's just less damage taken. But then the giant bomb Crocodile had. Luffy just tells Pell, let him handle the bomb. It was confused as Luffy walked inside the room with the bomb, and then rather than wrap himself around the bomb, it exploded. Of course it explodes. And they can't find Luffy's body anywhere. Until the arm was tapped behind Nami, and he points around to the blood. And Nami immediately got nervous, but then the mouth that had formed from the hand, telling her to pull all the blood into one area. It does. Luffy's body began to shape and reforming itself. And then, well, he had around 90% of his body. All that was left was his head, and he reformed that pretty easily. And he showed the Strats how well he can regenerate. So yeah. You guys are wondering how Luffy had his arm. His arm was actually somewhat saved. He made sure his arm was saved. So, yeah. Like, he can come back from being a puddle of blood, but he doesn't think that he wasn't nervous that wouldn't be 80% of his body. He was nervous about that wouldn't be 80%. Yeah, but Crocodile's honestly just shocked that Luffy took the full brunt of that blast, as the building didn't even blow up. At the best, the glass in the building shattered from a sonic boom. So yeah. But now with this, we go on to just, I would say, we can probably go on to, I don't know, probably Jaya, which isn't much of an arc. Just Nami doesn't tell Luffy to actually be careful or don't start trouble, because Luffy's not one to start trouble. He just finds it randomly. He's a very peaceful guy, but still, he randomly just finds trouble. But when it came to Bellamy, well, when Bellamy tried to slam Luffy's head through a table, Luffy just easily avoided it. So yeah. But eventually, it does lead to Luffy and Bellamy throwing hands. And when Bellamy began doing his Spring Hopper ability, Luffy just copied the Spring Hopper. So all he did is just copy all of Bellamy's abilities on a whim, and Bellamy couldn't avoid Luffy. But eventually, Luffy had swung around Bellamy, and just used kind of turning his arm into a tonfa, slamming it straight into the side of the head of Bellamy, almost completely destroying his head, almost. But yeah, so he defeated Bellamy that way. So yeah. Yeah, Bellamy was very shocked on that he almost lost that fight. It was terrifying to him. Yeah. So now we can probably go on to I honestly don't know. Yeah, Bellamy wasn't really a fight. The next thing that we can probably do is just go on Skypiea, which isn't much of an arc either. Luffy's just completely immune to lightning at this point. Yeah, he could burn, but now he won't be burned and won't be affected by lightning whatsoever. So it wouldn't matter. Point where when he does fight against Enel isn't really like, and now Luffy like his full force attacks and is like, why aren't you dying? Only go into his giant lightning god form, only for Luffy to buff up and grow in size just to copy Enel and mimic him and make fun of him. When Luffy used like a King Kong pistol and just nabbed Enel right in the chest, almost caving it in. So yeah. So Enel just completely gets bodied by Luffy because Luffy is mocking him. That's all it was. He mocked Enel by doing everything he could to look similar to him, and then eventually just beat the mess out of him. So that's all it took. But yeah, the next thing you can probably do is go on to, I would say, what was it? How do you forget these arcs so quickly? But yeah, Enel's easily bodied. Then probably the next arc is probably going to be Water 7. But the bounty after Alabasta, Luffy's bounty after Alabasta is 120 million, and with how easily he toyed with a warlord. So yeah. Zoro's bounty after the East Blue is 28 million. Then after Alabasta, 80 million. Sanji's bounty after the East is 28 million. The fact that he was just on Luffy's crew, and that earned him a small bounty. Then after Alabasta, he was at 76 million. Also, I'm only covering the East Blue group's bounties besides Gain. The fact that their bounties will be the only ones that are impressive. Everyone else would have a relatively very similar bounty. The fact that Luffy only trained with this group, so they're all a bit different. And Gain is like the main teacher for Luffy. So, yeah. Pause. Alright, so Water 7. Well, this arc isn't much different in terms of, well, much actually. Robin still is, gonna flee with Straw Hats, but, only thing that's different is when Iceberg actually, is shot. He blames Luffy, but Luffy just, says he's a master detective, he can deduce the whole crime scene immediately. And immediately, CP9 was a bit suspicious, they even asked asked Robin about it. And Robin's like, oh yeah, he's a really good detective, he will figure it out. So we should head to Enies Lobby right now. And right as Luffy deducted that was Lucci, Khalifa, and Bluno, and Kaku, they got on the sea train and stole it. And Iceberg is in sheer shock that Luffy actually figured it out that quickly. But also he says that he had Sanji watching the sea train. That's like Sanji isn't here with them. So with this, when the sea train took off, Sanji's on the back of it, just smoking a cigarette. And because, Aqua Laguna didn't happen, actually. Not yet, actually. Immediately we go on to just actually, Sanji on the sea train. You could walk in, and there's no cyber agents on the train. It's literally just CP9. They had to leave early because Luffy figured them out too quickly. But it honestly went on to probably Sanji going into the final train car, and Sanji would show off his much better skills. He fights most of CP9, actually able to somewhat defeat not somewhat. He's able to beat Bluno, push back Kaku, and push back Khalifa, and push back Lucci. Eventually, he's beaten up and thrown into the water, but by the time he's thrown into the ocean, when he's thrown at the door, Sanji doesn't really go anywhere. This confused them all, till they were closer, seeing two very thin lines holding up Sanji. When those thin lines buff up, turning into actual Luffy then threw Sanji right at Lucci. Before Lucci can actually finger pistol Sanji right in the throat, Luffy suddenly appeared, buffing up in front of Lucci, hitting him in the face so hard that Lucci was sent flying through the sea train and into the ocean. Immediately, Kaku just yelled, "No, Lucci!" Running into the ocean, swimming after him. And Khalifa did this before they got a Del Fruit, and same for Kaku. Before Khalifa can do anything, Luffy hit her in the neck so hard that it looked like her neck just snapped. Luffy will go throw hands with anyone, he doesn't care. But he kind of beat everyone in the sea train besides Sanji and Robin, so... But eventually Luffy punched his fist right through the floor of the sea train, stopping on the tracks. Then other sea train stopped it as well. And then Luffy threw Sanji and Robin onto the sea train. And within says that Strauss should head in his lobby because it's not everything, and Sanji just needs recovery, and Robin needs a scolding. So, yeah. With this, the Sea Train would basically go all the way over to Enies lobby, and every Straw Hat besides Nami, not besides Nami, every Straw Hat besides Robin and Sanji are there, and they throw hands with everyone they can. Came with the Giants, we stop talking them down pretty easily. Then Luffy fights everyone that he can, even like Phantom's like, what about Lucci? What about him? And he's like, oh, I punched him in the ocean. And really, Phantom thinks that Luffy killed Lucci. He really thinks that. He's like, Kaku, what about him? Like, oh, I punched him in the ocean too. And he's swimming after Lucci right now. So there's really no way to, determine if either one of them are alive. But with this, Phantom is kind of just mercifully beaten by Luffy. Like, the scene where it's like Kumasi mercifully beating on Usopp and Thriller Bark. Luffy is literally doing that same thing to Phantom. Just even harder. So, yeah. Now he's done, Phantom's face is rearranged to look normal, but he's covered in blood and bruises, so he can barely even breathe anymore. So, yeah. He didn't call like a Buster Call, like just fear. But by the time the Buster Call arrived, the Luffy and everyone else had left. So Buster Call was called unnecessarily, leading to Spandam and basically all the CP9 besides Khalifa, Bluno. Basically, everyone that survived in canon, they survive. If they died in canon, they all die. But now Buster Call was called, so Spandam's dead. That's the only difference. Spandam's dead. That's the only difference. So yeah. Yeah. So now we go on to, I would say, probably just Luffy and heading back to, and he's not heading to Water 7, and Luffy then calls Robin, telling her that there's no need to actually, fear, I'd say. There's no need to fear, I guess, anyone besides Luffy. And then the fear wouldn't be directed towards him, it would be directed at what he could do to someone else. That's all the fear would be. And Robin just cries and smiling that Luffy even says, yeah, you should be scared, but not of me. You should be scared of what I would do to someone who makes you scared of them. So, yeah. So, long story short, if you guys can't really get that, you should be scared of how protective I am over my family. So, yeah. With this, we go on to now Luffy and Straw Hats. And because this is before Aqua Laguna, so is this like 4 days before the Sunny even gets here? This is like 4 days before there's even an idea of the Sunny. Whether there's extra days to build the Sunny, but they had to hide it in Aqua Laguna. They kind of built it underground during Aqua Laguna. So, yeah. By the time that they do leave in the Sunny, their Sunny's a decent amount bigger. There's a lot of different rooms. The Sunny's just a bit better upgraded. So, yeah. But yeah. Yeah. So, pause. Alright, so, with this, they leave on their much better Sunny, even though Sunny was already pretty good. They leave, and Gin is kind of wondering the ship, honestly pretty impressed with it. Him and Frankie Frankie and him kind of ranting about how good the ship is. Not even ranting, kind of talk about it. Yeah. But eventually we do go on to, I would probably say, Brook. I mean, Brook is much different. But Brook and Luffy do go on pretty well, so Luffy's pretty dumb with bad jokes. But then Brook is just pervert with bad jokes, so, yeah. But we'd probably go on now to, I would say, just fighting against Moria. Which Luffy's argument being much different, actually. Until it came down to Nightmare Luffy. Like Lotus Crew's like, we get this many zombies to, feed someone who could beat Moria. Like, oh, I don't need shadows, just give me 10 minutes. And if you're saying you didn't fight him for 10 minutes straight, it's like, oh no, just let me concentrate 10 minutes straight. They nod, and after 10 minutes of just focusing, Luffy suddenly grew to his size comparable to Oars, even looking just like Oars, but alive. Moria suddenly froze, almost screaming in fear, letting off Oars' head punched full force, completely having his head knocked off right into the ocean. Luffy had picked up Oars' body, throwing it right into the ocean as well, letting it sink as his shadow went back to him. Luffy looked at Moria, who tried to consume 1,000 shadows, but Luffy grabs Moria by the head and almost crushes it completely until Moria just passed out. Then Luffy just shrank back to normal, saying, see, 10 minutes is all he needed. So yeah. But yeah. So yeah, Luffy just needs 10 minutes to turn into Oars. Oars, that's all he needed, just 10 minutes to turn into Oars. Just wait till Whitebeard sees this. He'll be amazed. So yeah. Now with this, Luffy would just go about, and we'd probably go on to, I would say, just now Sabaody. But Luffy's bounty at Sabaody. His bounty at Sabaody is 55 million. No, actually, this is the wrong bounty. That would be his bounty after that. I'm dumb. His bounty at Sabaody is 320 million. Zoro is 286 million. Nami, 92 million. Usopp, 98 million. Sanji, 290 million. His bounty is actually 4 million higher than Zoro. So yeah. But other Straw Hats, besides Gin, have very similar bounties. Gin's bounty is like, I would say, comparable to Frankie. So, yeah. But yeah. So now with this, we just go on to, I would say, we can probably just head on to the next thing being, what was it? Oh yeah. Fuck, I'm dumb. How do you forgetting the arcs in order? I just try to remember the fights or anything important happening in the arcs, but I keep forgetting what arc I'm on. It was Sabaody, but there's not really anything interesting happening here. Until it came down to Luffy seeing a Celestial Dragon. Or first Celestial Dragon buying his friend. But then we go to Charles' dad, who looked at Luffy and remembered what happened. Is this one, the Celestial Dragon that almost shot Sabo down is Charles' dad. And Charles immediately yelled at Charles, back down, he'll actually hit you in the face, he's hit me before. But immediately Luffy swung around, and going in for like a roundhouse kick, only letting Charles right in the jaw, completely destroying his jaw actually. And that had knocked out Carlos. So Carlos is defeated by Luffy with one fell kick. And Charles' sister got nervous, only for Luffy to get hurt in the face and Charles' dad too. You punch out two Celestial Dragons and kick one in the face. Good day. And that means he's hit three total Celestial Dragons in his life. So yeah. Now Kami's collar, Luffy immediately kind of just put his hand around Kami's collar and just crushed it in his hand, then exploded, but Luffy's arms took the brunt of the blast. His hand unraveled around the collar as his wounds healed, and Rayleigh's even shocked by this. Until Luffy just tells Rayleigh he has two double fruits that are basically the same, but one of them enhanced the other's abilities, giving him a whole bunch of new ones. Which Rayleigh thought was kind of funny. He had the same double fruit basically, but one unlocked multiple abilities, including this insane regeneration. But now on to the most interesting fight in the series, Luffy versus Kizaru. One's a Master Logi is basically intangible, and Luffy's basically invincible. So, how could this fight happen? Well, Kizaru going for a really strong kick, as Luffy's a lot more durable than stone, even if he didn't identify himself, it's like he has hockey. So Kizaru with an all-out light blast against Luffy tanks it. Then he does corner Zoro with like that one beam up below his foot. But Luffy immediately just jumped at Kizaru and wrapped himself around Kizaru, making Kizaru jump away, and the blast cancelled. But then kick that Rayleigh would actually be able to send flying away towards a tree. Luffy would kind of punch it right back at Kizaru, full force. Which just confused Kizaru, as Luffy's body would just morph around it and throw it. But then Luffy had a better idea. He immediately kind of just jumped right in the ocean, or it seemed like he did. But in reality, well, he kind of has a bit of his body above water, but half of it is below water. And he begins using that half below water to actually suck in a lot of it before he emerged, looking a bit more buff and a lot bigger. Comparable in height to Kizaru, but muscle mass is just, he's swole. Before he went into a form very similar to Gear 4th, but he's the size of, like, I would say maybe Dorian Broggy now. So with this, he spat out all the water, or did I say shit? He blasted out all the water like a water cannon all at once through one fist, right into Kizaru. But then Luffy just used one giant Lugi on the Kizaru, then it shrank back down to normal, and then, well, before Kizaru could use one good attack, Luffy just shrank down into the size of basically like a few inches, swung around on Kizaru's arm and kicked him right in the jaw, full force. Because Kizaru just lost in water and can really, well, he can be able to move, but can't get the water off of him, plus it was a Lugi, he's kind of stuck. Kizaru can't really do anything about this, he's just completely stuck and just gets kicked in the face by Luffy. And Luffy and Rayleigh can proceed to go ham on like just Kizaru all at once until Kuma had arrived. And Kuma slapped Luffy straight into the pavement, as Luffy's actually able to dig his feet into the dirt, so Kuma can't send him flying away, but Luffy just sent flying into the ground. But then Kuma sent Luffy's crew flying all the way, as Luffy's just knocked out from how hard Kuma had slapped him into the dirt. Like, Kuma used hockey to slam him into the ground. And Rayleigh just looks at Luffy, who has the giant paw imprint on his chest, as Luffy's whole crew's gone. Kizaru goes back to Marineford, basically like his face obviously beaten up, and even Enies like, how the hell did you get beaten up? And says, well, Straw Hat's pretty handy. Plus he had Rayleigh on his side, which everyone's eyes widen at that. And immediately Garp's like, what do you mean he had Rayleigh on his side? Kizaru tells everyone what happens, and how he only won because of Kuma. And immediately everyone just realizes that Luffy was so handy that he even outsmarted an admiral. And Garp honestly laughed at this, saying, I guess that the boy's deductive and trickery skills are higher than I thought. So yeah, which just kind of impressed everyone. So this scene 7 kind of not scene 7, I mean, I guess Luffy's brought to Amazon the lead by Rayleigh. And kind of tells everyone what happened. Then Boa arrived. She is told what happened, and she's actually asked to look after Luffy in place of him because the Marines are going to be swarming all over Sabaody because of what him and Luffy did. Boa agrees. Luffy wakes up. Him and Boa get along pretty well. And because Luffy's very similar to Plastic Man, well, Luffy and Boa do a few unholy activities while they're there. Point out that when the manga arrived, Boa walked out in only a towel and barely able to walk. Mungo doesn't even want to question what happened. It doesn't even want to question who's here. So yeah. Yeah. Boa's like, oh yeah, just want to get dressed and Boa's like, yeah, let me get dressed and I'll head to Marineford with you. So yeah. Walk inside as Luffy just kind of moved on clothes. Boa realized Luffy was naked a majority of the time that she was with him when they weren't doing unholy activities, which made her blush calling Luffy a pervert. So yeah. But actually with this, Luffy will kind of just shrink down to like an inch tall and just hide on Boa's shoulder. But he still eats like the portions of a grown man. So because he's so small, no one really hears me like, damn, this meat's good. So yeah. But until it came down to just Impel Down, Luffy just was able to sneak through Impel Down pretty easily, and he can take out any camera in his sight as he can still use Gear Second without it taking out any like. His gears don't train his body, so yeah, they don't strain him. He uses them more commonly and often. So yeah, in camera he found he completely destroyed the camera. The point where like he freed all the prisoners and no one knew what was happening. So yeah, all you knew is that cameras were going offline in certain places. By the time they found out what did destroy the cameras, Luffy was already in level 6 and he already moved on. So yeah. But this Magellan found like all the prisoners, but Luffy just jet pistols him right in the chest, and it was just set at an angle point where it hit Magellan right in the eye, almost destroying Magellan's eye completely. So Luffy just hit Magellan in the eye with the jet pistol. Magellan just immediately ran into cover, but everyone was gone by the time he emerged from cover. So there's really nothing to go on for about this arc. Like they leave, Magellan is down one eye because Luffy jet pistols him in the eye again and actually took out his eye. So yeah, by the time they're done, they leave Marineford. They leave Fort Marineford a lot earlier than they can. Luffy isn't poisoned. Yeah. Even if he was, it wouldn't really matter. But yeah. But with this, Marineford happens. And Luffy falls out of the sky. Ace had seen Luffy, and well, Ace simply just smirked, just saying that you guys are fucked. That's what they say. He's still Garp. Looks at Garp says, "You guys know you lost now, right?" Garp then sighs, saying, "Don't remind me, Ace," as he just face palms. And immediately, Sengoku's like, "You're going to accept the loss that quickly." Garp's like, "Let him focus for even a minute. We are going to lose this war." I would focus all your attention on Luffy more than Whitebeard at this point. But I'm telling you, if Luffy dies here, I'm killing you and whoever killed him. And immediately, Sengoku's like, Garp doesn't know what he wants in life anymore. He doesn't know what he wants to take his job or family. So yeah. But eventually he does go on to just, having every Marine focus on Luffy. But Luffy actually told Whitebeard what he can do, and that Whitebeard should take a bit of the attention off of him for a bit. And Whitebeard immediately just agreed to this. So until the allied crews arrived, Luffy began focusing his all of his ability until the oars had arrived. And Luffy hasn't done a thing since oars had arrived. Then oars had arrived, Whitebeard told oars about Luffy, and immediately oars turned around, seeing a giant 10 times bigger than he is. 10 times bigger. Like Luffy's bigger than San Juan Wolf at this point. Luffy can summon his way through the ice, and immediately there's no cannon that can hit Luffy. Even Ursa's shock doesn't affect Luffy because it's just sheer impact damage, which Luffy's immune to. So nothing Kuma does will affect Luffy. Nothing anyone besides maybe Akainu does. Maybe Akainu and Kizaru affect Luffy. Nothing else will work on him. But he's simply so big that the damage wouldn't phase him until he do it like 100 times over. However, Sengoku turned into a Buddha, but Luffy picked him up with one hand and threw Sengoku across Marineford. So yeah, even he had Ors's cover, so we kind of reached down, grabbing Ace's platform and just crushing it completely. Even crushed Sea Stone. With this, Ace is freed. Ace just ran up Luffy until Luffy told Ace, catch him. Been exiled a lot, just all towards the Marines, the same Marines flying everywhere, until Luffy shrank down to the size of I would say like 3-4 inches tall, and Ace just caught Luffy in 2 hands. Ace landed on the back of oars before backflipping onto Whitebeard's shoulder, then landing on the ground. And Whitebeard just high-fived Ace. Ace then asked Luffy if he's okay, but Luffy's asleep in Ace's palm. And immediately Whitebeard's like, go hide in Moby Dick, and we're just relax in there for a bit. So, with that, Ace ran into Moby Dick before anyone saw what Ace did, and Luffy and Ace just relax in there as Ace just recovers for a bit, eating a bit of food that he can. Luffy woke up like 5 minutes later, ate a lot of food he could, and then they're back at their full ability. Ace is just a bit sore, that's about it. But yeah, I guess they emerge after like 20 minutes, and then they proceed to basically dominate Marineford together. Even when it came down to Luffy versus Sengoku, Luffy just had so many advantages and versatility that Sengoku could not compete with. Luffy also threw him across Marineford, so he's kind of embarrassed now because Luffy embarrassed the fleet admiral. The one where Sengoku only wants to retire out of sheer embarrassment that some rookie threw him across the Marineford. And Whitebeard's thinking about Blackbeard's thinking about killing Luffy and taking his fruit, not knowing Luffy has 2 of them. Until Blackbeard took Whitebeard's fruit, and Luffy confronted him, saying our battle will be legendary. I have 2 fruits, you have 2 fruits, and both my fruits just give me new abilities. And everyone for the first time accused that Luffy is the one has one of 2 devil fruits already, then so does Blackbeard now. And Luffy's multiple abilities with his 2 devil fruits make him comparable to now Blackbeard. Because Luffy had mastered both of his abilities in this war, but now he needs to awaken them. So yeah. This war was basically the awakening of Luffy, and now the 2 years will be his, well, not the awakening, the mastery of Luffy's abilities. The 2 years will be his new awakening of them. So yeah. So I was wondering why Luffy mastered them in the war, and he'll awaken them in the 2 years. I mean, the fact that, well, one, Luffy's Pura Nami, it basically made him master not master, but control Go Nami at such a young age that he didn't need to train it. So, yeah. But then, after the years, well, he didn't even need to train his Pura Nami or Go Nami. He just needed to unlock all the abilities of it, which he did relatively quickly. And they were not complicated abilities at all. All they really need is decent concentration. So, Luffy really only realistically needs around 10.5 years to awaken his fruit, instead of canonical Luffy's 12. So that's just how good both fruits are in tandem. But yeah. Otherwise, the Pura Nami is honestly just Go Nami, but with a bunch of extra techniques involved. So yeah. But now we should go on to just probably, I guess, post Marineford bounties. Ace isn't dead, so Ace is honestly just chilling right now. But yeah. But Ace did retire after Whitebeard's death. So yeah. Luffy's bounty post Marineford, roughly about 555 million, so pretty high. So now we can probably just go on to, I would say, Fishman Island, which isn't much of an arc. So yeah. And Luffy, no one knows how strong Luffy is after these 10.5 years. Not 10.5 years after these 2 years, besides Jinbei. Jinbei's the only person who realistically knows how strong Luffy is, because Luffy's just training made Bruce Kaina shake, but also made Fishman Island shake through shockwaves that Luffy was sending out. So Luffy currently is on the level of Yonko because he awakened both of his fruits. And if you use them in tandem, and he is beyond Toonverse. You can remember that this Luffy can literally do anything he wants to reality at this point. Just these 2 fruits in tandem, plus all their abilities. Luffy is basically invincible. He can't really die. You can turn him to dust, he'll remake himself. You can turn him to atoms, he'll remake himself out of those atoms. Man is basically just anything. He is the physical embodiment of God. Not Nika, just God. That's just who Luffy became by awakening 2 of his fruits. And you can use these awakenings anytime he wants to. You even really admitted that Luffy's probably as strong as him now. So, yeah. So, yeah. Now with this, we go on to basically just Luffy heading to, Fishman Island, which isn't even an arc anymore. When Luffy arrived down there with his crew, Luffy immediately looked around, and one bunch of conquerors completely just decimated the whole Fishman pirate crew. Until it took the whole new Fishman pirate crew is decimated by one burst of conquerors. So Luffy spent around 8 months training his awakening. Then the next bit of it, training conquerors and only conquerors No new techniques. His whole childhood was techniques. Like any technique he uses post time skip, he learned as a kid or learned it while in the pre time skip era. Post time skip was only hockey, literally only hockey and awakening. So this man's hockey's through the roof. Conquerors is just amazing. So really, no one can currently beat him at all. Besides like maybe like an admiral can like contend him. So yeah. So Luffy easily beat the whole pirate crew with one burst of conquerors. Then him and his crew leave after the whole new fisherman pirate crew is arrested. Then to be Punk Hazard, which isn't an arc either. When it came down to the Eddie Cool brothers, Luffy immediately had one arm just be bigger than their whole physical being and slapped them away halfway across the island. When it came to finding Kinemon's body, Luffy had better tuned observation, so just reached in the ocean and find Kinemon's body. Being bitten by a shark was nothing. So yeah. So Kinemon's put together, Law ends up seeing how strong Luffy had become, and is honestly just amazed because after the team up at Sabaody, Luffy was stronger than them, sure. This man's a completely different monster. So yeah, Law is only terrified of how strong Luffy became, and he's pretty interested in seeing how strong Luffy can become not long after. So yeah. But now with this, we go on to just Luffy and them heading to now Dressrosa, which, yeah. Like, when the Fujitora saw Luffy, he immediately just froze, feeling the imposing aura Luffy emits, but also how kind he is. Like, Luffy's just scary yet nice to Fujitora. Remember, Fujitora is once he gets up, tells Luffy, me and you should go outside and fight. I'm an admiral, you're a strong pirate, let's fight. So yeah. They go outside, they find somewhere isolated, and Luffy and Fujitora fight and duke it out. And nothing like her had felt this strong hockey clashing, even Law felt it. More of the whole strike crew had arrived to the area, or the remaining of the remnants that weren't there, plus Doflamingo's whole crew. They arrived seeing Luffy and Fujitora fighting on equal terms without Luffy even using an awakening. And Fujitora isn't really using his Cell Fruit all too often at this point. Until a meteor began arriving, only for Luffy to go just like King Kong gun it into oblivion. Because Luffy can use Gear Force with really no effort, not even using Haki on it. So yeah. So with this, Luffy had eventually gone on and, eventually he used his awakening to his full potential and defeated Fujitora. Well, not defeated, but Fujitora can just have like a double knockout. Well, not even double. They can just knock each other down. They can't get back up anymore. But Fujitora is just wondering how some supernova is this strong. Well, I'll confirm that Luffy's probably above every single supernova currently, and Doflamingo's pissing himself at how strong Luffy is. But then he went to kill Luffy. Luffy as he's down. Only if Luffy put out one hand and grabbed Doflamingo by the neck and almost completely crushed his throat, saying, "I'm tired, but beating a warlord is nothing." So yeah. He then dropped Law held his throat, just throwing up blood. So yeah. So with this, So with this did end up defeating Fujitora, not Fujitora, defeating Doflamingo with his throat crushed. And even crushed is just pretty badly damaged. It can be healed in a matter of time. But his whole crew got back up ready to fight Luffy. Luffy would just get up and wobble a bit, saying, give me a few seconds. Like, a few seconds for you to recover? Hell no. Luffy says, "Shut up. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my crew. Give me a few seconds to beat their asses." So with that, Zoro just nods, like, okay, sure. Then 30 seconds later, Doflamingo's whole crew's laid out like a pack, and Luffy just nods, saying, 30 seconds, right? Law said, counting your stalling, 58. Luffy then says, fair enough, doesn't matter. He gets up and stretches, and then just back down on Fujitora's back, because Fujitora didn't get back up yet. And eventually, with Doflamingo's whole crew defeated, Fujitora even pulled like a Mushi calling, saying, send back up, I can't move anymore. Luffy passed on Fujitora's back, Fujitora passed out himself, and eventually the Marines arrived, seeing Luffy and Fujitora just asleep, with Fujitora basically using Luffy as like a stuffed animal. And Zoro's just there, and Sengoku's like, did they fight? And Zoro's nodding. They fought, ended in a draw, Doflamingo's crew wanted to fight, and Luffy beat them all up. Like, Doflamingo's whole crew's here, and I'd arrest them. They kind of ran the whole kingdom from the shadows, and had King Riku kill a lot of subjects. And I'm pretty sure Doflamingo's whole crew's knocked out still. You can do it quickly. And if not, he quickly arrest Doflamingo's whole crew, talked to Law for a bit, Luffy woke up, and Sabo happened to be near him just talking. You guys wondering if Sabaody to show up at Marineford? He was going to. He just saw how easily Luffy and Ace were winning it, so he didn't show up. Because Ace isn't dead. He's alive. He's just chilling out. Luffy woke up, talked to Sabo for a bit. Him and Sabo just hang out. And, yeah, Dressrosa is still in full peak shape. So, yeah. So, man, Luffy beat Doflamingo's whole crew while actually recently getting out of a fight with an admiral and drawing. So, it's just how strong Luffy is with his awakenings. But, yeah. But we should go on now to, I would say, just Luffy versus... Not Luffy versus anyone, actually. We probably just go to the end of Dressrosa. So, Goku want to keep the wraps of Luffy tying with Fujitora under wraps. And it has basically only him and Suru know about this, and Luffy's crew, of course. And basically, it kind of ends in basically Luffy's bounty being raised to around 880 million. So, yeah. Zoro's bounty is 360 million, Nami 110 million, Usopp 285 million, Sanji 355 million, and everyone else's bounty is the same, but Chopper is raised to 10 million because he told like Sengoku, like, you know, give me a bounty worth millions, or I'm telling, and he took 10 million. He'll take it. So yeah. And Gein's bounty is raised to 100 million himself. So yeah, it should probably be higher than that as he's comparable to Sanji. But yeah, I was wondering when Gein went in the time skip. He went with Sanji. But yeah. But now we probably should go on to, I would say, well, now Zoe. Well, they're kind of chill out for a bit. And well, in Urashi had heard about Luffy just so tired all the time for a bit. And like, oh yeah, he went all out in a fight against an admiral, and they had a draw, but Luffy hasn't gone all out against anyone ever, I think. So, yeah. But on Zoe, Luffy covers all his energy, and well, it wasn't really too hard to recover all of it. It just took him like a few hours to sleep and everything, and eat a lot more food. But Sanji still gets taken by Big Mom amidst Luffy's recovery. So, yeah. They were on Dressrosa for like 45 minutes. That's about it. So, Dressrosa itself is like few hours, like at the most, like 6 hours. Luffy and them were there for 45 minutes. Found Fujitora, brought him to fight. Luffy got curious, went to watch the fight, saw Fujitora and Luffy draw. Luffy got back up and beat Doflamingo's whole crew, and Doflamingo included. So yeah, it was just that easy for Luffy. So now we just go on to, I would probably say, just Whole Cake Island. But because the Stars have a lot more time, they actually all go to Whole Cake. But honestly, just more or less just cause an uproar than leave in secret, making the same trio still stay. Not trio, same group still stay. Oh, pause. So yeah. I would probably just say now, like, well, I guess it would be Luffy, Nami, Sanji, Chopper, and Brook staying behind on Whole Cake. But they found Jinbei there already, just because Zoro found him randomly by getting lost. Then Jinbei went to the whole meeting room where they were with Beijing. But come on, Luffy's a master detective and a master at just being stupid. So he found a very stupid yet amazing plan that Beijing or no one else here thought of. I will not say such plan, as I'm doing stuff off my head like usual, so I cannot say a plan off the top of my head. But how it goes. Strongest, basically weakest numbers head to the strongest islands to cause a small uproar. Strongest islands stop it, but in reality, well, the stronger ones are destroying the smaller islands, making Big Mom's strongest guys need to spread out because, well, they were the wrong islands. So basically, make Big Mom's heaviest hitters go somewhere against an opponent that they can never beat. But Luffy just says, let him fight Cracker, Smoothie, not Cracker. He already beat Cracker. Zoro, actually not even him, it was Sanji and Zoro. Because Sanji didn't leave a Beijing. Sanji said he'll go to Whole Cake on an island of his own accord. Zoro and Sanji went there themselves, though. So on like their way there, Sanji and Zoro both beat up Cracker for fun. But Luffy just says, like, let him handle Smoothie and Katakuri and Perospero. But Pero's like, no, let me handle like Tamago at least. And he was like, sure, why not? So him and Pedro basically head like Whole Cake Chateau and just lay low while everyone else causes a giant uproar. Eventually the Katakuri and Smoothie and Perospero move out. Tamago's with them actually. But, well, Brook is currently stealing poneglyph stuff. But Luffy confronted these four, and in the middle of just him confronting them, immediately Perospero would look at Tamago. And Tamago just has a sword just thrust straight through his throat by Pedro. Pedro then pulled the sword down, almost cutting him in half, which killed Tamago. And then Luffy looked at Katakuri, Smoothie, and Perospero, asking if they can really beat someone who's on the level of an admiral. They immediately freeze, but they try not to believe it, only to fight Luffy, and they horribly lose. Like, Katakuri's on the ground, like, pinned down with Luffy not even using Haki. Like, Katakuri just lost to Luffy, and Luffy didn't even use Haki. He was just a lot more versatile than Katakuri is. So, yeah. You know, like canonically, the Mochi Mochi Nomi is the much better Gomu Gomu Nomi. Well, it was. Yeah, Luffy is like the Gomu Nomi, but always in gear 5th. But then he awakens gear 5th, and now he's like 1,000 times stronger. So, yeah. Imagine like a constant gear 5th, just take away the Haki and the white aura, but then give him the Haki and white aura, and give him like 1,000 times multiplier. That's just Luffy. So he easily beat he basically beat Katakuri, Smoothie, and Perospero himself, and no effort them. Just no diff them. Then Big Mom had arrived after like trying to clear out one of the islands having to be Germa inhabited. But then, well, the Germa had escaped with Sanji staying behind. But she sees Luffy standing on top of Katakuri, Smoothie, and Perospero, and Tamago's corpse. Now her and Luffy fight. Now, one thing I want to say, I am convinced the Admirals are way stronger than any of the Yonko besides Blackbeard and Shanks. I think because Shanks has no feats so far, besides maybe postponing a very defeated Aki. Shanks' biggest feat currently is using Conquerors to scare Sea King, being quote-unquote Mihawk's rival, but Mihawk dropped Shanks as his rival, and blocking a very beaten-up Akinu's blow. So, Shanks has good feats that can at least push an Admiral. Shanks is definitely Yonko level, but I don't think he's like quite in the tier of Yonko from what we've seen right now. So until we get otherwise, he's currently the Admirals are the strongest force besides Blackbeard, who has 2 devil fruits that are probably the best. So yeah, but yeah. So Luffy just fights against Big Mom, and Luffy's drawing the most Admirals because Kizaru's confident in going to stop Big Mom and Kaido himself, and Luffy's beating Kizaru already. He almost beat him pre-time skip. But now this Luffy's definitely stronger than him, so he easily just no diffed Big Mom. You went all out, sure, but he has a lot of more energy to spare, and he won't be out for days on end. He'll be out for like maybe 8 hours. So yeah. So Luffy defeated Big Mom. His rank at the end of Whole Cake Island is roughly about 2.9 billion. It was 3 billion after the whole thing with Kaido, so 2.9 billion is the lowest I'm giving him, but the highest I'm giving at the same time. So yeah. Kaido hears about Lin's defeat, and everyone does. Well, then Luffy had everyone kind of Big Mom also kind of had to chase Germa, so she's a bit tired, but so this his bounty's a bit lower because she had to chase the Germa and also fight against their whole army, but lost. Not lost, but her homies lost, and then they kind of ran away. But then we just have to go on to, I would say, like, just Wano now. But Jinbei didn't stay behind. Big Mom's defeated, so no one chases them. So yeah. Now with this, we go on to, I would probably say, like, just Team 7, the Straw Hats. They're in Wano, they chill out there for a bit, but they don't, like, there's like an hour difference of these Straw Hats leaving for Wano. There's like an hour difference. That's all there was. Even Kinemon and Momonosuke weren't in Whole Cake Island. They were just chilling out there, though. So yeah, Kinemon and Momonosuke are kind of waiting at the docks for the Straw Hats. Then they hide their ship, and then we probably go on to them living life pretty normally, but Luffy isn't arrested. I guess we know like, the whole Kozuki Castle incident between like Kaido and Luffy. Then that blast from like Kozuki Castle at Kozuki Castle was launched. We immediately just like stood at the blast head on and held out one hand, and the blast had been held off by Luffy not even using Haki. And that's Luffy because he had training for a bit with just kid and law. Not kid and law, just law. But he actually put his head off the whole brunt of the blast with his bare hand. The blast is dispersed, and Luffy's hand but skin burned off, which just heals immediately. And Luffy and Kaido fight. But there's still the phrase, if it's one-on-one, bet on Kaido. And I think that phrase still stands with Yonko, too. No Yonko, I mean, between Admirals, too. But this fight almost ends in a double knockout, so, yeah. But because Kaido had a bit more troops than no one on the front as strong as Luffy is, or near that level of power, they can't hold them off. Zoro doesn't have Enma, doesn't have Conqueror's Haki, awakened yet, that is. So, no one is stopping King or Queen. No one is. They're a lot stronger because they have better training, but no one's stopping them still. So, Luffy is taken to Udon Prison and kept there. But in the same cell as Kid hears out that Luffy had knocked out Kaido. So he realizes that Luffy's a Kaido level threat. It's just that Kaido had stronger forces, so Luffy's arrested. And when Luffy wakes up, Kid's like, are we gonna break out or what? You're strong enough to do so. Luffy says, yeah, give me a few days to rest. By the end of the week, we'll be out of here. Kid nods, saying, fair enough. You follow Kaido. So, yeah. And Luffy's still doing more than Kid can to get whatever they're being fed. Luffy still does better feats than Kid while he's still tired out. But eventually, by the end of the week, Kid's like, are you ready to break out? And Luffy just nods. And then in the yard, Luffy just tears off like his restraints using just raw might, also being able to just slip them. So yeah, and then they came to his collar, with him being able to break out of his collar, which his handcuffs pretty easily. He immediately just put Haki around the thing around his neck and threw it in the air, letting it blow up. Then he freed Kid and kind of freed anyone around him, including Hyogoro and Kawamatsu. So yeah. But with them, everyone freed. Queen is actually there, but Luffy and Queen fight, and Luffy didn't even use Gear 2 to beat Queen. It was just that easy. Luffy barely even used Haki. All he did was shrink down and then just choke out Queen. That's all he resorts to if it's a weak opponent. Just shrink and get choked out. So now with this we go on to, I would probably say, the end of what was it? Yeah, the end of the Onigashima, the end of the Udon Prison arc. But now the next thing will probably end up being, now Onigashima. We're training for Onigashima. Luffy was only in Udon Prison for like a week compared to canonical length of, I think maybe at the most a month, but that's highballing it. So yeah. Like, it was like, at this point, like, Zoro didn't even fight Killer yet. So, yeah. Like, sometimes he would fight Killer, Kid had found Killer and grabbed him by the back of his shirt and threw him down, telling Zoro to leave. So, yeah. We can probably head on now to just them training for Onigashima, because, Kid and Killer are both now safe, so they're pretty chilled out. But we can probably just train for Onigashima. Zoro got Enma. He actually got Shisui back as Luffy had backed up the statement of the devil fruits and everything. So yeah. But Luffy would hear the legend of the Sun God from Hyogoro and hear about his abilities. And Luffy does back up that he may be the Sun God. His fruit is called the Hito Nomi to him. So yeah. Or it's a possibility it could be the Hito Nomi because of his flames. So yeah. So Luffy and Zoro and all of them just trained their max abilities. Zoro awakened his Conqueror's Haki coding. Luffy taught him how to do it too, because Luffy already knew Ryuo pre-time skip. Not post. He knew it at Dressrosa, just didn't need to use it. Man's Haki is just stacked. By the time it came to Onigashima, Luffy and Kaido are basically equal in every little thing, until it comes to double fruits. Luffy's strength is equal to Kaido, his speed greater than Kaido, his durability greater than Kaido, his intelligence greater than Kaido. Yeah, never mind. Kaido has a lot of stats that are below Luffy now. At the best, they're equal in strength, physical strength. Comes to devil fruits though, Luffy will absolutely body Kaido with no effort. So yeah, Luffy Kaido fight, and it's more or less Luffy beating Kaido, but by the end of the fight, Luffy barely beat him, but still he did. So yeah. But since Kaido was defeated, at this point, before they even headed to the roof, Luffy just fought Kaido in the middle of Onigashima, and he won. But then, all that was left was, I guess, King versus Zoro, which wasn't really too over a fight for Zoro. Zoro easily just no-diffed him. And then we probably would go on now to just Queen versus Sanji, which is another no-diff. But Sanji didn't have Sabaody abilities yet, so it was Gin and Sanji versus Queen, which was an even easier fight for them both. So Sanji awakened his Sabaody abilities, but didn't need Gin anymore, but Gin already left, because Queen was already beaten. Sanji went ham on anyone that was around him at this point. So yeah. And Zoro didn't need to tank that like Emperor Sakai thing, because if you have to read the manga, Zoro did not tank. He didn't block it. That man is just ignoring his pain for like the next 10 minutes before the man faints. That's all he's doing. If you read the manga, Zoro doesn't block shit. He's just holding back tears. That's all he's doing. Like Zoro after that episode holding back that giant attack, that is the definition of holding back tears. But yeah, but Luffy being Kaido, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to do besides maybe just have Onigashima end in the Straw Hats easily winning. Like, no one can stand a chance against him. Like King lost in the first 5 minutes of him and Zoro's fight. He, Queen fought someone like Sanji who was equal to him, but then Gin is really close to equal to Sanji, so that was just another no diff fight. Uh, Kaido lost to Luffy in the middle of it, in front of everyone, so they had to see Kaido lose, and that was a big more morale lower. Like that's a big thing that lowered the morale. So no morale. The strongest fighters are down. Yeah, this Onigashima ends in like 45 minutes. So yeah, it was like the same length as Dressrosa. That is just how short Onigashima was. Instead of being one night, no, it is one evening. That is only like Onigashima ends, and by the time the sun is fully set, Onigashima is over already. That is how short Onigashima was. So yeah. But yeah. Note this, Luffy would probably just I guess the next thing we probably do would probably just have CP0 like try to basically like, get Luffy and kill him because they're ordered to. But Luffy killed most of CP0 by himself. So yeah. But yeah, all that's left is probably just the end of Wano, which would be Green Bull arriving. But Luffy evolved in power significantly. So Green Bull and him fight to an equal standstill. Luffy only equals or beats admirals. There's no in between. He's not losing to an admiral ever in his life anymore. That is, but yeah. Even pre-time skip, he barely lost to Kizaru. It was just a lucky fight because he had Rayleigh on his side, but still, he almost beat Kizaru because of Rayleigh, but he was still confusing the hell out of Kizaru, and Kizaru could barely get past that confusion. So yeah, but Green Bull eventually had drawn with Luffy because they were in a draw. Well, they escaped. So yeah. So this next arc would probably be Elbaf, which honestly is pretty relaxing. They spend the time that they're training. They meet Loki. They train with the giants. Yeah. Next up would probably end up being like Vera or anything, like finding the last road poneglyphs, which is just a very long manhunt. But there's really no one to stop him besides Whitebeard's allies, not Whitebeard's, Blackbeard's allies, which still isn't much of a fight at all. So yeah. We could probably go on now to like just. Yeah, we can go on now to like just. Well, there's a load. I guess Lodestar, which isn't much of an arc either because Moria's there and Moria's no diff by everyone. So yeah, all he had was numbers, but Sanji and Gin easily just like Robin can handle all the numbers. So can Frankie. So can Gin. So can Chopper. So can Jinbei. So can Yamato. Literally everyone can handle Moria with no difficulty. Maybe not Chopper with no difficulty, but everyone can. So yeah. But yeah. But pause. So yeah. So Little Star is honestly just a warning from Blackbeard telling them meet me here. And they do. It's near One Piece. They fight. One of them heads to the One Piece. They fight again. Luffy wins. Then next up, Luffy finds out about the revolutionaries losing on Marineford. Luffy heads up to Marineford to save Sabo. And there's where he'd fight the other admirals, which the other admirals being, not Aki Inu, but Aki Inu's a fleet admiral, so counting Aki Inu, he fights Aki Inu. He gets to run the ones with Kizaru again, along with Fujitora and Green Bull. He fights Aki Inu. He beat him pretty easily, but he's not as tired as he's grown a lot in potential and everything. So, Admirals honestly just he only beats Admirals. That's about it now. No one can really beat him. Or even Zoro's even pushing back Kizaru, but eventually he decides to fight Fujitora. Then Sanji fought Kizaru, and the more ended in double knockout for each fight. We might have to fight the rest of the Straw Hats that had nothing else to do, fight anyone important. So yeah. But Luffy helped out those Straw Hats, which happened to be Usopp, Robin, Gin. and Luffy helped them basically defeat Green Bull. Then it was Garp and Goku left, but Ace heard about the news as well, so Ace is currently on Marineford with Luffy, with Marco as well. So Luffy, Ace, Marco are actually able to defeat Garp, and they defeat Sengoku. Or she's not Garp yet, but Sengoku first. Which probably leads to like Awakening and Ace, and then Marco uses all these things Awakening to his full ability. So 3 awakened users fight against Garp, and they're mastered their awakenings, and they easily beat Garp. So yeah. They save Ace. They save Sabaody. They save the revolutionaries. The Sword Dragons are destroyed, and now there's really nothing else to do in the world besides destroy the Red Line, which they do that. Yeah, honestly, the rest of the world is pretty much in peace now with the Red Line destroyed. Garp just lives a normal life. This isn't really much of a story anymore because Luffy just soloed most of it post time skip. But yeah, hope you had some good story. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.